What up racer, ItsJerone here and welcome to a new F1 22 League Racing video. Today we are for PSGL second round of the season. The first round of the season we unfortunately crashed out in the lap 1 incident. Now before I move on to anything else I have a little bit of sad news, and that is that I will put commentaries on hold for now. And that's due to two reasons. First of all, I want to have a little bit more free time in my daily life. And second of all, I don't really enjoy this game at the moment. The state of this game is not very good, as you'll hear throughout this video as well. We have an audio bug, then there are bugs with the formation lap where you have cold tires, and yeah, there are just so many weird things with this game. I just don't really, intrinsically enjoy this game. I do still enjoy racing, so that's why I will be racing. But this game is not in the best state at the moment, so I'm going to put commentaries on hold. This will be the last commentary you'll hear from me for quite a while. Now I will of course make highlights videos and, well, that way show you what I'm doing league racing wise. So I'm racing in PSGL, I'm racing in FRL, and I'm doing things with FRL esports such as SRC, and the EML Cup will follow as well. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's head into the race. I decided to start last on purpose because I wanted to finish this race after last week's debacle in both PSGL and SRC. So let's see if we can actually survive this race. As you can immediately hear in the audio bug, it's just extremely annoying. As we're heading into turn 1, let's see if everyone keeps it clean. Skyline taking it really cautiously, a little incident on the right hand side of me there, as we have a Ferrari side by side with me, and we get hit by the Ferrari. He had a massive snap of oversteer, and nearly I was out of the race again in the first sector. So Kian had a massive oversteer moment there and slammed into the side of me. Fortunately I managed to control it and we're still in this race. So up to P17 we go, and well, let's see what we can do from here, as we're just going to follow Kian, save up a little bit of battery. Now my mindset for this race was not to take many risks, especially in the opening stage of the race. So we're just going to take it conservatively, as we had a spinner of Carlsbury there. And we're making it through the middle sector of Miami now. And Kian actually going side by side with Mikey there and managed to get the move done on him. And he moves up to P14, as in meanwhile Carlsbury is closed up to me again on his medium tires. And he of course wants to make use of them, as we are on the hard tires. Now most of the grid is on the hard tires, and only a couple of people have decided for mediums, as Carlsbury is sending it down the insides. We're so going to leave him some room on the inside as he slams us into the wall there. No racing room given. Chalkers benefits from the situation, and fortunately for me it didn't really result in damage, but it did mean I lost a position to the other medium runner around me as well, as Simple Hacks is into the pit lane, and Chalkers and Carlsbury are still going side by side here in the first sector. I was not very happy with that move from Carlsbury, but we move, and yeah, they're still going side by side here, so they're making it pretty interesting here in front of me. And in the end Carlsbury does manage to get ahead by the end of sector 1. So some clean racing between them two. Not very clean racing between Carlsbury and myself. Well, I said clean racing, but Carlsbury went for another spin again. So once again we're ahead of him. But this time I think actually, no, I didn't keep him behind for another lap, but let's see what he wants to do. Is he going to send it back up the inside? No, this time he's opting for the outside, as I do lock up a little bit and somehow he's still there, so we'll have to leave him some space, and I decided not to put him into a wall. Of course the medium tires are much stronger than the hard tires at this point of the race, and it would be stupid to just fight this extremely hard, so decided to let Carlsbury go. Made sure we don't lose DRS to the pack ahead. I'm not sure what happened here. Chalkers is round, so we gain a position on him, and somebody else is into the pit lane as well, I believe. So we'll gain another position. Yes, that's Kian, and he decides to retire from the race. So we're up to, what is it, P16 again, as once again Carlsbury is nearly going side by side with someone in the first sector, but Mikey does manage to, well, Mikey slots in behind. Lap 5, Michele into the pit lane, likely with damage as well. So that's another free position for us, as Nico makes a mistake here in the middle sector, and unfortunately the mistake was not large enough to really capitalize on it, so Mikey does manage to only lose one position with his mistake, and that's nice for Mikey because he could slip up his inside. A couple of laps later, Nico got the position back, as now Elliot and Daniel are into the pit lane, who both started on the medium tires, I believe. No, actually Elliot was on softs and Daniel started on medium, so very early stop for Daniel. In the meanwhile, we have side-by-side action into the first sector again, so you can also see on the minimap that there's like a massive gap between us and the leaders. In the meanwhile, we nearly picked up damage there. Fortunately, the ghosting system did do its work, and we were cautious as well about that spin, so I think even if the car didn't ghost, we still would have avoided it. So we're up to P12 now, Daniel behind us on a fresh set of hards, and I decided not to fight this one, just brake extremely early, let him go, and hopefully Daniel can cause some chaos ahead, on which we might capitalize and possibly get past Mikey. Now this is only, well, a couple of seconds later actually, and Daniel was on a charge and immediately decided to slip down the inside of Mikey, so no real benefit for me here. I can close up just a little bit, but it won't be much. In the meanwhile, Nick Kenshin in the Red Bull, we know him from PSGL F8 last season, went for a spin at the end of Sector 1 there, so we get another free position. In the meanwhile, Rack Elliott on medium tires has closed up to us. He's possibly on a 2-stop, I think, because I don't think he can make those mediums last until the end of the race. So we're letting him go as well, but he misses his braking point, misjudges it, and slams into the back of BNL RE Mikey, and that means I get another free position, as in the meanwhile I think some actual pit stops are happening now as Jarno's into the pit lane. So we move up into the top 10 this race, and we're now behind my teammate for this season, FRL Terror Racer, and well, let's see what we can do from this position. We've both been pretty cautious at this point in the race, as he does brake a little bit early, and well, we tapped the back of him. Well, I think we both had different philosophies for that corner, like how to take it, and I think I braked at a fairly okay point, but I think this is also mostly on me. I should have been way more cautious there and just braked like 5 meters earlier, then this incident wouldn't have happened. Now, it was a spin which cost Terror Racer about 6 seconds, as you can see in the top left there. And unfortunately he now crashes out of the race himself due to, well, the warm tires from the spin in which I sent him. And he just couldn't manage the warm surface temperatures. It's really difficult on this game to manage your surface temperatures, and they were just too hot heading into turn 3, and he spun in the right-hander and crashed into the wall, unfortunately, with terminal damage. Now, this did cause a safety car. We're in P9 in this race now. Possibly a 5-second penalty looming above our heads for that incident. And we're going to switch to a set of medium tires. And I think we will actually emerge back in P8. I'm not sure who I just overtook in the pit lane there. But that's nice for us. And, well, it will be quite a difficult task to get those mediums to the end of the race. But we'll do what we can and just see what happens, basically. Now, our PSGL host for this race was a bit of an idiot, and he accidentally left the safety car on broadcast mode. Now, I had no idea what was going on here. I'd never seen this before, so in the party audio I was freaking out like, what the fuck's happening, man? What's going on? I had no idea. This was even an option in the game to put the safety car to broadcast mode, so you can see me here scrolling through all sorts of settings trying to gain back control, but that's not possible. It's a thing which is regulated by the game. And as you can see here, only 15 drivers left in this race, and we get back to racing now. And it's a bit stupid because you don't have full control over your traction when the safety car is not into the pit lane, and it basically, well, emerges us right at the end of the straight before the start-finish straight. So we're all sort of just waiting here and trying to get some tire temps and just general control over our car back. And I'm not sure who the leader is, but he waited really long here Are we going to make it 3 wide into turn 1? No, I did think about it. Elliott moves on the braking, slams into Sam. Sam somehow manages to not get spun out, and I think he does hit the Aston Martin in front of him. And somehow we all made it through without damage there, as we're looking to go up the inside of wreck Elliott there, but that would have been an absolute send, and I don't want to commit suicide yet. So let's just wait a little bit longer, and oh my goodness, we nearly got taken out by, I believe, Nico there. Terror Racer was my race engineer after he retired from the race, and he said that Nico had overshot his braking point. So thanks Terror, otherwise I wouldn't have seen that one coming, I think, and I would have been assassinated. So just about managed to avoid that. So Elliott ran a little bit deep there, and now we're only 3/10 behind him in this little Mickey Mouse sector, as we have yellow flags. That's for Leon. Meanwhile, Rack Elliott messes up his line. We actually tapped the back of him a little bit there, I think. And this time we're really close. Down this long back straight. So we are on the softer compound relative to him. He's on hards, making it to the end of the race easily. So we're going up his inside here. And let's see if we can get the move done. Yes, we do. But actually, Elliott gets a really nice switchback here and manages to just about get back in front of us here. So we don't get the move done. And it was just not decisive enough, and I didn't really have the rotation in that penultimate corner there. That's something I'm generally struggling with on this setup. It's quite understeery in low speed corners, so I don't really have the rotation to get it done. Now, this time I do get the move done on the next lap with DRS. It was quite an easy move there. In the meanwhile, an incident ahead of us. VIR Leon spinning on turn 1, and Sam is waiting up for him, so I assume Sam was involved in this incident. So we're going to slip down Sam's, well, outside actually, and now we're right behind the Aston Martin of GSP Philip. So let's see if we can actually immediately get the move done on him on this next straight. Still have 53% battery remaining for the rest of this race, and it looks like we might be able to get him here based on pure straight line speed. And meanwhile, watch in the background, a McLaren VIR Leon coming here as well. He's also going for the overtake on Philip, and he sends it down my inside and actually gets the move on the pair of us done. So nice move by Leon there to gain 2 positions in one straight. Not sure what that straight line speed was about and how much ERS he actually used there, but yeah, he used quite. I must have used quite a lot there. Otherwise, you can't get a double overtake done. In the meanwhile, half a lap later, Mikey retires from the session, and we have yet another safety car. Now, this is quite an interesting point in the race because we're in P5. There's a huge train behind us, and we have the option to switch to a set of softs or stay out on the set of mediums. And personally, I know that the softs drop off pretty quickly on this track, and I thought, well, tires are only like 25%, so it might be a better idea just to stay out on the set of mediums and go to the end of the race. Now, Leon in front of me does come into the pit lane. One of the race leaders, or in the leading pack, ItsJerone, which is, well, a namesake of me, and I actually know him from FML, of course. He's into the pit lane for a fresh set of softs. He also had a wing change, I believe. Meanwhile, El Piloto on mediums staying out in the lead, and Lewis on his hards staying out as well. Speaking about Lewis, he bottles under safety car conditions, trying to warm up his tires as we are trying to burn a bit of fuel still. And he goes for a spin, which basically, well, sends him to the back of the pack again. So we move up 1 free position, and we moved up 2 positions due to people coming into the pit lane for a fresh set of softs. Fortunately, Nico also decided to stay out on his set of mediums, so we're not the only ones. Top 3 is on mediums, and then it's Leon with a 3-second time penalty in P4 on the softs, the first of the soft runners, and Carlsbury in P5. So let's prepare to get racing. And I was actually sleeping a little bit on the restart there relative to El Piloto. I didn't think he would accelerate from the inside there, but he did, and well, it's not a huge disaster or anything. We're only 7/10 behind, so we will probably be fine. Now, you can see ItsJerone making the most of his softs, and he's immediately up to P3, and now he's right behind us as well. So we're going to defend a little bit against him, but it's just a matter of time really before he gets past us. So we're just going to go a little bit defensive, force him a little bit to, well, compromise his line. Maybe get a switch back here, but as you can see, the grip on those softs is just insane. Meanwhile, heading on to the long straight in the middle sector, and we have yet another safety car, and that's because the second Haas driver spun, and he's not even out of the race, so I'm not sure why that gave a full core safety car. So, once again, quite interesting. What are we going to do? Well, in the meanwhile, El Piloto, leader of this race, somehow misjudged his braking point under, well, we've not even caught the safety car. He misjudged his braking point. I was sort of looking at him, so I nearly ran too deep as well into that corner. And he actually completely retired from the race. Tried to make the corner still, slammed into the wall. So, really odd scenes here in Miami in the PSGL S6 tier. So, we gained another free position and we moved up into P2 this race. Can things get even crazier? Yes, they can! ItsJerone has left the session due to his internet, and that means we're essentially in the lead of this race now as the safety car's coming in. His AI is going really slowly, which I was not expecting there, and now the AI of ItsJerone doesn't want to overtake us. Meanwhile, we have 5 seconds left not to get an illegal overtake penalty, so please go past. Unfortunately for me, with only 2 seconds left, the AI car of ItsJerone decided to, well, overtake me again and take the lead of this race, to speak. So our tires are basically stone cold at this point because we couldn't do any tire warming the last 15 seconds while waiting for the AI car of ItsJerone, who decides to go immediately here, and we're back underway for 2 more laps of racing, trying to get a bit of temperature back into our medium tires. As you can see on the dash there, basically 80 degrees, which is really cold. Michele retired from the session, and this AI car from ItsJerone on his fresh shots is actually insanely quick. Who's also quick is Carlsbury behind. He does have a 3-second time penalty though, so most likely that won't be able to get removed, and we'll possibly, if we can stay within 3 seconds of him, we'll be able to win this race. So let's use all of our battery. We just have a full battery to use within 2 laps, so we'll hopefully try to keep Carlsbury behind as we're going defensive now. Now the gloves are really coming off and braking at like 120 meters, trying to force him a little bit wide here, but he actually does manage to get the inside, and well, that's just a superior soft grip still. I think if we had continued under race conditions, then he wouldn't have been able to pull off such a move, but he could save his soft tires a bit throughout the safety car period, and he managed to get the move done for the lead of this race. Now finally down this back straight we actually caught up to the AI car of ItsJerone, who now joins back into the session, so hopefully for him he'll be able to, well, at least regain a couple of positions, or well, stay where he is right now and not lose more positions essentially. It would have been amazing to have a ItsJerone 1-2 for this race, but unfortunately it's not meant to be. So we're going through the final corner of the final lap now. As you can see, rear right on 50%, and Carlsbury wins the race on track, but due to a 3-second time penalty he drops to P2, and throughout this chaotic race we managed to keep it clean. Well, we had a little incident with Terror, but he's my teammate and he's decided not to report me, so we win this race. But Carlsbury did manage to remove his 3-second time penalty in the steward's room afterwards, so he will get the full 16 points this race. Obviously he gets 16 points in PSGL for winning, 12 points for P2, and actually he gets 17 points because he's also got the fastest lap of the race. So GG's to Carlsbury, GG's to ItsJerone as well, who should have won this race, and regarding myself, I'm pretty happy with this. So good result, and let's move on to the next one. See you next video without commentary. Bye bye.